How's it going, guys? So I've made this video to reply to all the questions and comments that you guys had on my web series pitches. So the first question was from Nathaniel Hummel. Sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. So you asked me how I plan to film the tennis shots and if I have anybody in mind or if I have somebody that can shoot the tennis shots videos or just in general any of the shots that are going to be played. Yes, I do. I personally play tennis, and I know a few people that do play tennis since a while with me that can to make it a lot easier for me to have something like this as a concept. And other than that, if the other characters are not gonna be as difficult to shoot because I only have the parents and the kid and possibly a scene with my character's friend's parents, no more than that. Second question was from Tyler Callahan. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So I see you said that both are inspirational. I like the active. You like the acting one better because it's a message about self-image. Okay. Thank you. I was kind of leaning more towards the tennis one, but the acting one is something that came to the back of my mind too. So, as you also said that the problem with the tennis idea is finding people who are really good at tennis. I've been playing tennis for a long time, and I know a few people that have been as well. My high school friends I still play tennis with, and when spring hits, spring to fall, we usually play at least 3 or 4 times a week. And there's 5 or 6 people that I know, so I can possibly shoot with them. As I know some people, so it shouldn't be an issue. So the next one is Darius. The first thing he said is the second one seems better and it will be different. Still kind of seems big in terms of production. That's a good question, but I think maybe possibly we can just shoot the set itself that we're gonna use. For example, if you're doing a movie or anything, if you're making a short film in general. And we could possibly just use cameras that are lying around, production lights that are lying around, just a chair for the actor or so. And it should be just like an acting movie inside an acting movie if you think about it. But that's a good question, and that's something that I'll have to focus more onto and look into. The next question was by Alessandro. I see you said you like the best one, first one better as a sports player. Okay, you played softball. That's pretty cool. You said you have the same question. Why does the father not want him to play tennis? So the background of the story is that you did also say that it has been shown to help people develop some social skill, but the background of the story has been that, which you'll see when I do a summary about it or a short an essay or short essay on something if you have any other next assignments to do so with it. So the problem is he comes from a very strict family, his father and our main character as well, and they come from a family where education is number one, and anything other than that is pretty much considered a distraction. He comes from a family of doctors. His dad's a doctor, his grandfather has been a doctor, his mom was a doctor, but his mom is not more forced to become a doctor from her side of the family if you think about it, but his dad has been. So he just comes from a background where they think education lines are the safest future for safest choice for future, because as I said in the summary, that his dad thinks that sports can't lead you anywhere, if anything. So the next question is from Clifford Bruno. It says, hello Parav, the first web series and description of it very well put. Thank you. And the only question you have on tennis bars is, would you be wearing actual jerseys and sports shoes? Okay. So you asked if you're going to be shooting with actual jerseys. Yes, we could do that, definitely. If you're doing high school, I have some high school jerseys myself. I probably have over 8 or 9 for the player himself, and if anything, it doesn't have a name on it. It doesn't have a number on it. So what we possibly just swap the jerseys for different shots or so. And for college or stuff, we could definitely we're gonna if I do this idea from the poll. I also have my UD's jerseys when I played for UD, and other than that, most of the stuff is gonna be either gonna be practices or it's gonna be higher level sports by the end, towards the end of the story or short film. So those you can just possibly wear a Nike t-shirt or an Adidas t-shirt, which wouldn't require a specific uniform, which is not required in high tournaments. So the last question was from Michaela. You did say that, okay, so your concern was about somebody not it's not, I'm not saying that everybody thinks like that, you did say that you don't think that being ugly doesn't have anything to do with acting. I agree with you. Few people agree with you, but that's not the point, and I'm not calling the actor ugly. I'm just stating that he's just not as good looking as the major film star, like film leading stars, pretty much. It's he has very good acting skills, but of course, in my opinion, that there are a lot of people that would rather see somebody who's been there for a while, or somebody who looks very, very well in movies, other than seeing acting abilities, because the movie industry pretty much does run on repetitions of actors, if you have noticed. So the reason I brought this topic up is because I think that everybody needs to see the acting behind a person, just like when you go watch it play, or pretty much anything that it's live, any stage performances, you see more talent than you see how people look. You don't look at people, you just want to hear their thoughts, you just want to see how they present themselves. That's how I mean it. And somebody else up ahead did also say that what exactly makes him ugly. That was, sorry, Mallory, I missed your question. I'm going to bring you up next. So yeah, that's just the point I have. And it's the only reason I have not brought up Ugly Betty or so is because Ugly Betty is actually played by a pretty woman, and they have done makeup to make her not pretty in the show. So that's the reason why I think that. And the next question, and the last question which I missed, was Mallory. Hi, Mallory. So it says that the backstory is why the dad doesn't want him to play tennis. Did something happen to his dad when he was younger? Nothing actually happened to his dad, but his dad just comes from a very strict family where the education is really important, as I said earlier. And he wants his son to become a doctor just like him, and his grandpa and his mom. And that's the reason why he doesn't want him to play tennis, because the more time he puts in tennis, the less time he can put in school. That's how his strict family believes, and anything but education is distractions or of some sorts. And the second question is, what exactly makes him ugly? Terrible accident to his face. I don't mean, when I say that he's not as good looking, I don't mean he's ugly, but my point is just basically he's just not the great looking lead actor that everybody sees on the main screens. If you can give you a couple examples, like, Tom Cruise, Bradley Cooper, Zac Efron, people like that, audiences who actually want to see them, I have noticed that they don't care much about their acting abilities in a movie, but that's the only reason I brought up this topic. I've never meant to say that he is ugly, but he's just not as great looking as every other leading actor that the whole industry knows. All right, guys, thank you for all the questions. If you have any other questions, you can reply back to this video, which I'm going to attach to the same post. All right, have a good weekend.